Congratulations, you just received an order for a DumPit from Lowry Manufacturing. Now what? At the factory in Lowry, Minnesota, we gather all the details needed for your custom DumPit. Once we receive your order, our drafting department goes to work on designing your DumPit, and then we send you the final design for approval. After we have your approved design and your project is up next on our schedule, our manufacturing team members get to work on your order. Since each order is customized, our company takes great pride in ensuring your product is built exactly to specs in our American-made manufacturing facility. Your order is now complete and ready for shipping. We coordinate deliveries and ship nationwide with our trusted trucking partners. Your DumPit has now arrived at the job site, and it's time for the unloading process. Because our shipping partners are familiar with our product, they can help aid in how to unload in an efficient and safe manner. Typically, we encourage unloading with a crane or equipment capable of lifting at least 5,000 to 8,000 pounds. Now it's time to begin the installation process. The first step is preparing the site. Some customers will have the site prepared ahead of time. This would include digging the hole and ensuring proper depth with the transit system. Making sure the site is level and square is very important. String lines are recommended to position your DumPit properly. Okay, now it's time to get your DumPit ready to set. We begin by installing the leg stand assembly. Your bolt package comes with all the hardware needed for assembly. You're going to install the chamber extension tube with rubber gasket. Next, connect the auger support brackets to the two tabs on the pit. Adjust the brackets to align chamber tube extensions to chamber bottom so it's straight. If a setted slab is poured, it will help and aid in the leveling and squaring of the DumPits, but would still need the next step. Now your DumPit can be turned upright. It's time to set your pits in position. Before lowering the DumPit, it's recommended to properly rig your units to make sure it's level once lifted off of the ground. This saves time when lowering to the final position. When you lower the pits down using your string lines and transit, ensure the pits are level and square. Please make sure the pits are precise as possible, especially if you have a two-pit system. It's now time to prepare for concrete. Add the rebar grid over the leg stand and place concrete forms based on recommended pad size in the manual. And now it's time for concrete. To prevent pit from upheaving, pouring concrete over the leg stand will ensure your pit stays in place. Next, position the sump tube. This can be done either before or after the concrete is poured. After the sump tube is up, lay drain tile around the perimeter of the pit and connect the sump tube. If you have a high water table, you may want to consider adding additional drain tile to shed water away from the pit site. After the concrete is cured, it's time to backfill with peat rock or buckshot. You can choose to fill the apron with gravel, crushed rock, or pour concrete. This is based on what kind of apron is desired by the customer. We recommend installing auger flight into the auger tube on the ground before inserting it into the chamber. This will make it easier to assemble. With a spliced auger or service port, this would be assembled in two separate pieces. With the spliced flight, it's critical that where the flight gets spun together, the two flights are welded together. Now it's time to rig the auger and slide it into the chamber. Have one person watching from inside the pit for proper rotation of the auger into the chamber by aligning the openings of the auger inlet with the DumPit boot. Another person on the ground level should align the bolt holes of the chamber and auger flange connections. Now, install auger chamber connection hardware. And now it's time to install the drive head box and components. Now check the gap in between the auger flight and foot bearing washer, and make sure you have between 3/32 and 1/8 inch gap. Next, install your flow gate with provided pin and hardware. If you do not have the optional flow gate adjuster assist, hook chain up to the flow gate and run chain through the grate insert as it's being installed. After the grate is in place, install chain on tab in the grate insert to set the flow gate to the desired position. Make sure you install it on the truss side opposite the auger. Installing on the incorrect side is a common mistake, so be sure to install properly. When installed properly, the chain should be straight up and down and not at a diagonal. Congratulations, you've successfully installed your DumPit.